if anyone shows up. We're both ready to roll. We're both in the title screen here. Says join. Yours says you're ready. I'm just going to wait now. Let me see if we get somebody coming in and viewing. There's always at least one or two that pop in here right away.
All right. Just give me probably 25 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yep. There we go. Stinging Corpse up in the house. All right. What's going on, Corpsey? Just waiting to make sure that everything was going good here. All right. Hopefully get a few viewers on tonight. Be great. Got an awesome guest, so... Yeah, I'm probably going to try to play a little bit of that before I hit the sack here, but... Right now, God of War is pretty amazing, though, but we're going to talk about that here shortly. So, great segue into that conversation in a bit. Zalius Van Cloud, thanks for the follow, brother. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in, checking out the stream. We got Dealer Gaming here, just about ready to kick off the official introduction. He just had to step aside, so as soon as he comes back, we'll get this show on the road. We're going to be playing some Rise, Son of Rome, some of the co-op mode, which a lot of people really haven't played much of. I haven't even played much of it. I'm only like ranked 2 in the multiplayer, so... Garain, what's going on, bro? Figured you'd be stopping by here shortly, so thanks for popping in. Got Dealer with me here. We're just about ready to officially start this stream. We just had to step out. Maybe to drain the lizard or get another beer. I don't know, but he'll be right back. All right. The card man himself is in the building, and we've got some people up in the chat. Everything's sounding good, guys. Let me know how the audio is. Can you hear me just fine? Give me a yay or a nay.
Check.
Can you hear Dealer just fine?
What's going on, guys?
I always have to do this, Dealer, unfortunately, because we know how Mixer can be. It's crazy.
A mixed experience, would you say?
Yes, it is. It's always a mixed bag. I never know what the hell we're going to get. It's like a Forrest Gump episode. Yep. Life is like a box of chocolates.
One day it's 480i, the next day it's 720p, and then the next day it's 8K somehow. You just never know.
You never know with this stuff. All right, anyway, guys, now that Dealer is here, everybody's all settled in. Yes, welcome back to episode 16. Holy crap, episode 16 already of Mixing It Up with Newf. My special guest tonight is the one, the only, the enigmatic, and awesome Dealer Gaming. Yes, I think that's a word. But yes, former co-host of mine on Xbox Nation. And now he is the host of one of the best podcasts you're going to find on a weekly basis, and that's RDX Podcast. Love those guys over there showing support. So I'm super happy and stoked to have Dealer. I didn't think it'd take me 16 episodes in to get you on, Dealer, but it was just the luck of the draw. But glad you could be here. We got some great guys in the chat. Stinking Corpse, Garain, Logros Benz is here. We got some people up in the house, and of course people will always struggling a little bit late. So we're going to be playing some Rise, Son of Rome. We're going to be doing the shits and giggles here, and we're going to be talking about the usual gaming topics, some that came out this week, all that good stuff. So again, welcome, Dealer, to the show, my friend. How you been tonight?
Doing pretty good, man. You know, it's no problem at all to come on, and no matter what's going on, man, you know, no matter what you're doing, you're blowing some shit up or robbing a bank, no matter. Just let me know, and I'll be there.
Well, I think we're going to go
I'm doing pretty
good,
though, man.
tonight.
It's been a pretty interesting day. It's just finally, as I told you earlier, just finally got my new PC in. I've been setting that up and dealing with all that trash, and now I'm about to play some Rise, Son of God of War. So let's do it.
All right, yeah, I figured this is a great game to pick for tonight, since this game has been compared to God of War on numerous occasions. And it's a great chance for people to actually see the multiplayer portion of this game, which was kind of overlooked, I think, when this game came out. So I think still Rise, Son of Rome is still one of the Xbox best showcase titles on the X, and it looks, phenomenal. Man. Even to this day, it stands up very well. I mean, it's a testament to the geniuses at Crytek. So can you imagine, man, if they do make a sequel of this? Like, holy hell.
Oh man, the crazy part is you're right. Day one, this game came out on the regular Xbox with, remember back then the Kinect games, you still needed 10% of the total GPU power for the Kinect on the base box. So they only had 90% of the Xbox One's power to make this with underdeveloped SDKs. Like, it would look so much better if it came out today, but it still looks so great right now. Really good.
I'm selecting the God of Mars. Who'd you select?
I didn't get a chance to look at it, but they had a health symbol next to it, so it's all good.
Yeah, imagine if the enhances for the X screen says yes, indeed, it would. It already looks really good. Excuse me, if you're playing it on the X, but if it had the actual enhancement, holy hell!
Yeah, yeah. Imagine a sequel with co-op campaign, because this co-op, as you mentioned earlier, works really well, doesn't it? Really well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it's
super well. So.
It's as close as you're gonna get to being an actual gladiator, I'm sure. I mean, look at the graphics. Just,
yep.
I'm just playing on the base model right now, and just coming up out of this dungeon, it looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, looks great.
So the whole
we can't. I think there's a little bit of delay there. Sorry, my bad. I was just saying that we can't really guarantee that it looks great over Mixer, but trust us, it looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, if you've ever played this game yourself, fucking press. What the hell are the buttons now? I can't remember. I'm pressing God of War buttons now.
A is counter, X is attack, B is roll. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm pushing God of War buttons too.
I've been pressing like the bumper buttons now all of a sudden for the strike. It's crazy.
Yep. I'm pushing in the stick to run. Oh my god, this is horrible news.
I know, it's crazy when you're so used to the other one.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, the whole purpose, if you didn't know, mixing up a Newf is to introduce the community to, well, not just the bigger YouTubers like Dealer, but it's a chance for you to get to know a little bit more about Dealer besides, you know, video games itself. We know that he's a big gamer, he's got a PC, you know, that sort of stuff, but the whole thing is like, you know, gain some new fans, all that sort of stuff. Oh, that's you right there. Okay, we gotta go slay the leader. Yeah. So Dealer, I saw this life bar and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy? All right. So anyway, Dealer, basically I asked some simple questions like, take us back, man. When was your first gaming experience? What were the consoles you played on? Let us know.
First experience I had was the day I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real. So that was Christmas. I woke up and found the Sega Genesis under the tree early, and yeah, it was that was my first console. I think was the Genesis, and it was just awesome seeing all those different cartridges. Cause you notice something different. Today's box art just doesn't hold the candle to the old retro box art, right? Because you look at that box art, and you're like, and a possibility. This looks so cool. Then the games obviously didn't look anywhere near that great, but the box art for every game is just really cool back then, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of gone now.
Yeah, I kind of miss that.
Yeah,
you know what's really crazy? You are the 16th guest on this show, and I think of the 16 people that have been on here, I think at least 15 of them said they started out like with the Genesis more so than the Super Nintendo, which I'm almost shocked because me growing up, it seemed like all my friends were more Nintendo guys, you know. So I was. Yeah. So, what was one of your favorite games on the Genesis? What was like something that you remember like fondly and still kind of maybe even like today?
I'm trying to remember. There were so many games. That's the thing about, you know, the Genesis generation compared to now. There were so many fucking games that you would just never hear of again. You just like game number 18,000, but it had a really cool name. You know,
right. Every
game just had a cool, you know, art and a pretty cool name. So it's really hard to remember some of these. But I think it was a fighting game. I know I definitely played Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that, but. I think a fighting game was my first game I played on there.
I had this game.
I couldn't tell you the name.
I had obviously Altered Beast is what came with my console, and then the one I've had after that was this game that was kind of like Altered Beast. It was called Last Battle. I don't know if you've ever played it, but you played as, it was a side scroller. You played as this big like fucking Hercules-sized dude who would actually get big like you would in Altered Beast, right? You get power-ups and your dude would get bigger and stronger. You just basically walk around punching all these dudes, and Every level was like so fucking repetitive though. Like it wasn't a very good game now that I think about it, but I loved it for the time, right? I mean, back in the day, you could get excited practically over anything on the Genesis, you know?
Yeah.
Now you'd play some of those games today, and you're like, my God, I'm bad at it. No, back then you were just like, man, anything looked a lot better than the old NES, right? It's like, damn, look at this shit. These graphics are awesome.
Yeah, and they did. They legitimately did look really good back then. Like, you look at them now and you're like, this is okay. It just shimmered off my TV. Okay, yeah, you know, I remember thinking with the PS1 that Silent Hill. I told myself even at that age that I was like, nothing will ever look better than this. You know, and you look at it now, yeah. The wall of just crawling pixels with different pixels moving on it. You know, it looks pretty horrible, but you know, it's crazy that the bar is continuously set by seeing something that looks better than.
Oh, totally. The bar is always being raised.
Like complete trash now. Yeah, it is.
So you're probably a big fan of
Mortal
Kombat.
God of War's good too. Yeah.
Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter?
Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct.
That was always the big. Fight back in the day. It was Sonic or Mario, Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. I remember Pit Fighter. Actually, I liked that one quite a bit by Tengen. I don't know if you ever had that one.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think I was, honestly, I was kind of young, so I don't, I'm not going to be able to be as specific with, like, the Genesis stuff or any of that, but I will say that I definitely think I prefer Mortal Kombat because, you know, you're young and there's blood, and you're ripping people's spines out and beating people with their own arms and whatnot. So this stuff was a little more appealing, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I hear you. Oh, we got to destroy this cauldron. Last battle was a Hokuto no Ken game, but they didn't get the license, I think. That's what Logro says in the chat. Yeah, I think it was, I don't know what it was, but it was kind of cool. Right on, man. So what was, after the Genesis, like, what was your big system after the Genesis? Like, when did you finally get into Xbox and stuff, or were you more of a PlayStation guy at the time?
Well, like everyone, I had a PS1. Well, most people anyway, had a PS1, and then that led, you know, playing Gran Turismo and Silent Hill and the Resident Evil games and all this other stuff, and then had some experience with the 64 there for a bit. Wasn't mine, but I lived somewhere that had one, and understood why people really loved that console, and then moved up to PS2, and then eventually I got an original Xbox. And really, I think Robotech was my first game in the original Xbox, and that was kind of the beginning of the end, where I could load up some system of it. Yeah, Robotech. Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't. I don't know. I think I just had enough money to get it at the time, and I got it, and I enjoyed it. Not saying it was an amazing game, but hey, I wanted to play something, damn it, you know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That's what I got.
Were you a fan of the sports games and stuff back in the day, or Madden, hockey, any of that stuff?
I mean, I can do it in real life. I tend not to do it in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, sports games, I don't know, they don't hold my attention either, dealer. I gotta say, like, as much as they've come a long ways over the years, like, buying one of those every year feels like I'm legitimately buying the same game every year. So I don't even bother with them anymore. They get too boring. And by the time you go through, like, a fucking, you know, 60, 80, 152 game season, whatever the hell sport you're playing, you're like, damn, like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
It's
not even like Forza Motorsport, where people say, well, that's kind of a sports game, but you know, that's,
well, the cars change,
it's
the
so
tracks
much different.
change, a lot of the scenarios change. Yeah. You know, the builds on each car can be massively different. You can have a 900 horsepower Ford GT supercar, or take the power out, put some compound in, and tune it up for grip. Like, there's a lot of skill and variables there with your builds and your tuning setup. So, I was always a Forza guy, but no Madden, nothing like that. I'll fall asleep before I finish a game of that. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm down up top here. I'm up trying to kill these guys. I'm down on the here.
All right.
Jago, what's going on, brother? Jago says hello to you, dealer. Green says, what's up, dealer? Green is in the house.
No talk. No, I'm trying to get up there, but I think if I'm fighting this guy, I can't. Hang on.
So, of the old consoles, dealer, which one would probably be your favorite? can technically consider that old.
Yeah, it's getting really old now. 12 years old, man.
Yeah, it is. So before the 360, what would you say was your favorite console?
Probably, I don't know, because that includes the original Xbox and stuff, you know.
Now, if you had to take Xbox over a PS2, would you do it? Because I know a lot of people are very near and dear to PS2, so...
Yeah, that's where I started out, but man, when I found out that I could load up, you know, System of a Down and a little bit of Tupac or whatever I wanted to listen to on my original Xbox and start doing that while I'm playing games, like, I really gravitated towards that, because you couldn't do that on PS2, you know? So the music and the hard drive aspect is really cool. I think I had a 10 gigabyte hard drive on there you could use, and I filled that thing up, you know, so I had a lot of good times with that thing, but yeah, probably the original Xbox, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one because it depends on what era I was in, you know.
For me, I mean, for me, the big thing on PS2 was like when Grand Theft Auto first came out and how it was a big trendsetter. But what made me really love the original Xbox was games like Ninja Gaiden and was it Chronicles of Riddick? You know what I mean?
Escape from Butcher Bay, right?
That game back in the day, like that had the graphics that like held up and was like, holy shit! Like there's nothing on the PS2 that looked as good as that game.
Yeah. You gotta come over here and hit Y on this. Yeah, it looked pretty good. And wasn't it made by Vin Diesel? Opened up his own game studio,
Tygon
like or something.
Tygon Studios.
Going.
They were with Starbreeze. Tygon apparently still going, but I think they went more of the mobile market. I think.
Cowards.
They haven't really. They co-developed some stuff after that game, but they didn't have a lot of success. I think one of the other games they did. Remember that other when Vin Diesel was in that 360 one, the Wheelman?
Oh god, yeah.
It wasn't a great game. It wasn't terrible either, but I think they worked on that. And... Damn, I'm getting my ass kicked over here. Grain says Riddick was my fave game on Xbox. Oh shit. Man, I'm going down worse than a fat chick on a donut here. What's going on?
I'm getting my ass kicked. You gotta run.
I know.
Hit that B button, man. You gotta roll out of there.
Keep bending the knee over here, man. What's going on? Vin Diesel loves. Yeah, he loves video games. Keep forgetting to fucking block. Oh, we're both fucked. That was my fault.
You can't block those guys. That's the thing. Their attacks are.
You gotta roll out of the way. Stun them. Right. Yeah, I was trying to block or something, screwing up. That's all right. That's why we're playing this for shits and giggles. Plus, it's hard to concentrate on games sometimes when you're trying to have a good conversation.
It really is, man.
So, Dealer, if you were stuck on a, let's just what was your favorite game then on the PS2? Do you have a particular favorite? And I know that's always a tough question.
For the record, those watching, like, we haven't played this game in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm rustier than
and we're coming off God of War, so.
Yeah, I spent the first 5 minutes hitting triggers. Hitting trigger buttons for the action moves.
Yeah, I know, man. PS2, though, there was a lot on PS2. And by the way, Grand Theft Auto, when it came to Xbox, Vice City and 3,
yeah,
that was a big deal. I remember that for sure.
Oh,
but on PS2, the first game for PS2, I think, was a DBZ Budokai. And then to say that there was a particular favorite, I don't know. That was just a long time ago. I would probably say maybe Budokai 3. I played the hell out of the game.
Gotcha.
But that's just me reaching harder than most of these dudes do on Twitter.
Yes, there's always reaching, man. There's a bunch of reach around motherfuckers on Twitter. Jesus. Yeah, there's always fucking drama on this shit. It's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Some of these people, they just can't live without it. So they gotta live vicariously through others because they got nothing else to do. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, PS2. It's hard to tell, but
yeah.
I'll say that.
Gotcha. How about the Xbox, original Xbox? Perhaps a Halo game or?
A lot of good stuff on the Mecha Assault is the thing that made me get into
Mecha Assault was good. Yep, that was a great game.
Yep. I looked up there at that piece of shit. At that piece of shit TV on the Walmart gaming aisle, and I saw Megasalt, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" You know, I had to get it. So Megasalt was good, and definitely KOTOR. That was the first time I was like, "Whoa, I have to play this game some more." ICO Republic was a big deal.
Yeah,
I remember renting that, and I didn't even give a shit that there was a late fee.
Siberia, what's going on? We got Saltiest Game in Siberia in the chat. Fucking awesome. Dealer says hello, guys. We're having a good time. We're both Rusty's old fuck playing this game. You know what's crazy though? Now you hook up an old system to these new TVs and they look really bad now. It's like, you know what I mean? Like those old games weren't meant, unless they're like HDMI and they've improved the resolution. They're just, some of those games are so blurry. Like I have my old Dreamcast hooked up on my HD TV in the bedroom. It looks terrible. It's like, man, everything looks like fucking. You know, if we're calling the PlayStation 4 Pro soup on HD TV, well then that fucking Dreamcast on the HD looks like fucking diarrhea.
This is stuff soup's made of. Shit. Yeah,
yes.
It's bad. A lot of stuff's interlaced.
Yeah.
Interlaced as well, so you're not even like a 480i or whatever. It's, or 40p. It's 480i. It looks pretty bad.
Yeah, it is pretty bad.
Shield bash.
Maybe back in the day, I don't know, maybe her eyesight wasn't so good, I don't fucking know, but...
Well, like I said, standards, man. You can go from a $20 pair of Sony headphones to some good Audio Technicas, and like, what the hell have I been shoving pieces of dog shit in my ear? Basically, that's what this old pair of headphones sound like, you know?
What's that? Oh,
Salty
in the chat says watching us play this makes him salty that there probably won't be a Rise 2.
I know.
Well, you know what? If fucking nothing else, Microsoft should at least fucking buy the damn franchise and then get another dev to make it, if nothing else.
Microsoft should have already bought Crytek.
Yeah, they should.
Like the technology in CryEngine alone, they need a powerhouse graphics engine that they can optimize for their own exclusive content, and they're afraid to spend money, man. They could have owned Mortal Kombat for $20 million.
No, they'd rather buy another fucking Minecraft game or some cloud service bullshit. I don't know. That's all they're into.
I'm gonna wait until E3 before I'm like, all right, now, okay, what the fuck's going on? But honestly, yeah, we'd like to see some, like Salty said, Rise 2, because this is one of the first launch games that really had a bunch of potential. It was actually a really good story.
Yeah, it was a good story, and even this co-op here is like a good bit of fun. Like this is actually pretty well done, right? Like it forces you to pick each other up and keep your backs close to each other, and I don't know. And the graphics, like I said, the graphics are still fucking stunning in there. Like for an old game, came out in 2013. Jesus, this shit was probably being developed in 2010.
Yeah, it was a Kinect game, remember?
Yeah, it was. Oh man, lots of ugly people. Was it Mike Barra was just showing off a personal Rise statue, no new game coming? Yeah, I think I was making fun of that on Crap's podcast the weekend.
You never know, man. They might surprise you. They've done it before.
You never know. You might be. That could be a big secret announcement.
A little low because 2017 sucks, but you know, hey, you never know.
Alrighty.
All right, asshole. Fucking quit dodging.
What current games are you playing these days? What sort of games are floating your boat? And what would you say has been the best game of the generation that you played so far on this batch of consoles?
Well, I mean, it's no contest for game of the generation. It's Witcher 3 still, and that's just because it offers so much spectacular content for 150 to 200 hours straight. Like, where God of War is up there too. Don't get me wrong. But, and it's absolutely phenomenal. We've both been playing that game. And I am still not done with that. I put a lot of time in it, but I'm also doing a lot of side stuff because I feel like you get way more out of the game than rushing through the single player, just the main line. But God of War is great, and it's definitely one of the best of the generation. But Witcher 3 is that caliber of content for the most part, but there's just so much more of it. So I would have to give it to Witcher 3. Otherwise, I would probably give it to God of War or Rise of the Tomb Raider. I really fucking enjoyed stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great too, eh? You must be pretty excited, like I am, for Shadow to fucking show off the trailer for that. You know, that's the thing.
I'm kind of concerned about the team, though, right? It's not Crystal Dynamics this time, right?
Right.
So I don't know.
I don't know. 343 did a good job with Halo. I think
you're down?
I think the bottom line, as long as they've got, you know, collaborators from the other team and they have the engine down, I think a lot of it just then comes down to execution and storytelling. Like, to be honest, like I think with the Batman games, right? Like, my personal opinion now, like I found that Batman Arkham, what was it, Arkham Origins, I thought was just as good as Arkham City and all that stuff. Some people would disagree with me, but I really thought they did a hell of a job with that game too.
Down again?
Yeah. Well, I don't think your life comes back for you. It's like one hit or something and you're dead afterwards.
Hang on, I'm gonna get you in a second. Let me destroy these two.
I'm getting almost surrounded here.
Oh shit. Yeah, I would say Origin stacks up to City, but it's definitely underrated. Like, it's a solid fucking game, and it got hammered in reviews for really a lot of bullshit reasons, you know. I like it. Good. In regard to Tomb Raider, though, I will say, and I was saying this to someone else, I was like, I'm a little concerned about the developer because I don't know what's going on. And anytime you don't know, you're a little concerned. But what I will say is that developers that used to be the B team, like, what was it, Treyarch, there was a time where they were the B team, and now that's the preferred Call of Duty game over Infinity Ward.
It's true.
You know, so you just never know. They could come out with something that's really amazing.
Jacob, Newf loves taking a knee. I'm getting my ass kicked. I don't know why I'm going down so fucking much. Keep forgetting the controls in this damn game.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, well, Garain says I doubt Crystal Dynamics just handed them the keys and won't help them. No, I'm pretty sure they've got people from various teams that are making sure, and they know what's on the line. They know that, you know, one bad entry in that series could practically doom it, much like the Mass Effect Andromeda almost fucking, you know, killed the Mass Effect. It's funny, you think they had 3 solid games and they make one that's subpar, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this fucking franchise is in trouble. It's like, I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, it's how they did it, though, that they got people like, here a studio that never made a game before. Make this. And by the way, it's our highest rated franchise we have. Here you go. Like, that doesn't speak to me and say, well, we have a lot of confidence and we really want to keep series going. Like, I don't understand that logic. So, I mean, I kind of understand that mindset, but yeah, Mass Effect's not dead. It will be back. You know, we'll see how that goes. Never fucking know with EA.
No, it's true. So if you were on say you were on a deserted island, see if you were on, say, a deserted island, but you could only bring 3 games from any console generation with you, what do you think they would be? This is a very tough question. This is always the hardest question of the show.
Well, of course, Witcher 3, because that's 5 billion years of possibilities.
That is true.
Man. Yeah, I'm just a very in the mood type of person with these things, so maybe a racer that you could just play the hell out of, so Forza, the latest and greatest Forza. And
let's just say, if you're going to be stuck with 3 games, you probably want something that has some longevity to it, because, I mean, there's certain games I couldn't imagine. I mean, as much as I love Hellblade, for example, I couldn't imagine me playing that, like, fucking, you know, day in, day out. You know, like, that game only has so much life into it, right? At least this has a multiplayer.
That's why I'm not choosing, like, Rise of the Tomb Raider or Uncharted, because it's like, I can't just play the same story I know over and over. I might play it 2 or 3 times, but
well, I keep telling people they have to be one of the Gears of War games for me. What's that? Lollipop Chainsaw. I don't think we want to play that one. And a third?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
You said Forza. You said Witcher. Obviously, good 2 choices there.
I don't know. I would have to learn how to play an MMO.
Okay.
A real MMO.
No 16-bit classics.
Think MMO these days.
No 16-bit classics from your childhood.
They don't hold my attention. They don't hold my attention now. There's no way I'm gonna try to stretch those. You know.
You know what's funny? Again, you're the 16th person on this mixer, and nobody really ever picks a Nintendo game, which kind of floors me. Because as good as their games are supposed to be, most people are just like, no. That's because a lot of their games, like, you play them, and as good as they are for that initial playthrough, you're just like, after you're done with them, it's kind of like, eh. You know what I mean?
I kind of grew out of those games too. Like, not saying they're only for kids at all, or they're not great, but they don't appeal to me personally. The same way Persona doesn't, you know, appeal to me personally. Like, it's not my my bag. So yeah, no Nintendo stuff. Though I would, I do buy those classics just to have them. Like all the Sonics, I have all those on Xbox and stuff. I don't play them, but I have.
Persona games are not my fucking bag either. They're probably a pain in my fucking bag, but that's about it. Fuck, I keep watching videos and people are always raving about them. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here? Like, it's just, I don't know, they're just too bizarre for me, man. But to each their own.
Maybe you just gotta huff a lot of Pine Sol first before you start playing this, and then you'll understand. I don't really know.
Pine Sol Podcast.
But I'm not writing them off, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they're bad, or they just, I don't understand them. They don't appeal to me, but...
Well, dealer, I'm glad you clarified that, because we know how, again, this fucking gaming community only loves to hear the bullshit they want to hear, right? Because you can say, oh, I think it's pretty good, it's just not my cup of tea, and they're like, what? Dealer hates that fucking game. He's just trashing it all the time. Like, it's just... The fucking absurdity with the way people just listen to certain things, and then they shit on you, it just drives me nuts. Like, no.
Did you seriously just kill yourself?
I ran into one of those traps that got spiked in the balls. I didn't realize
that'll
I
drop
stepped
anybody.
On. That will drop anybody. Spike in the anus is not good, people. Stay away from that. Alrighty.
You're right.
So,
people, they only hear what they want to hear, man. That's how
they hear what they want to hear. We'll get some more lighthearted questions out of the way here. We'll give a chance for the chat to also ask you a few questions. But I always ask these: what sort of music are you into, man? What's some of your favorite bands?
A lot of different stuff. So anything from Megadeth to, honestly, like I said earlier, Tupac to Slipknot to Perfect Circle, Tool.
Oh, Perfect Circle.
There's a very wide variety. Anything but country. Like, I ain't trying to get a dude that rides a tractor and fucks a dog. Like, I'm not into that shit.
Well, hey, Philly Diddley, I've been salted there now. Dealers, what the hell? You don't like country music? You don't like songs about making love with your sister? Come on, Jesus.
Yeah, kind of grew out of those.
What's going on, Spider-Man? 356 is up in here. He says, hello, dealer.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, I hear from him occasionally. What's going on, man? Good to hear from you.
Spider-Man's a good dude. Yeah, he's been one of my biggest Mixer supporters for sure. That's cool, man. I like your taste in music. Anyway, you like a lot of the same stuff I do. You kind of like that, you know, that semi-heavy.
Zeppelin. How could I forget to mention Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and oh my God, like those should have been the first ones I actually mentioned. So,
all right.
Yeah.
You fan of Metallica or Megadeth? Any of those guys?
Yeah, Megadeth I listed, and I say those over Metallica because I just think they have more talent left. They have a little bit more of that hunger left, whereas Metallica is just like, I got every one of their albums as a big fan, but every time they come out with a new album, I kind of give them hope a little more, whereas Megadeth has actually made really good stuff recently.
Metallica's had so much pussy now they can't even smell a fish market anymore, right?
They can't even see their guitars when they're playing. Like, oh, this sounds generic. Who cares? Just go.
Don't say that.
I honestly have not completed the last album yet because every track kind of sounds similar and generic a little bit, and it's like, you guys can play anything you want to fucking play. You're Metallica. Like, you remember playing One and Fade to Black and Call of Cthulhu and Master of Puppets, and then you play this generic trash. Like, just be you.
Yeah.
You don't have to conform and make something that sounds like something else. Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of annoying because they could play some of the cool shit.
Yeah, as they become more, they get more money, they sort of lose the passion for it, and they start to commercialize the sound, and a lot of bands seem to do that, and to some degree I understand, because I think when they make their best music, it's because it comes from a place that's, I think a lot of bands, they're in a weird place in their life, when they're young, they're full of anger and angst, and they're broke, and they've gone through a lot of hardship, and all of a sudden now you're millionaires, and you're getting the finest pussy and drinking the best wine and driving fast cars. You're like, what the fuck are you angry about anymore? It's like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Well, like, they don't even have to be angry, right? Like, the Black Album is their most successful album by far, and that's like the most popular album, and it's arguably one of the softer albums, but it still sounds like them. And now this stuff, like their most recent album, is just kind of like each song just sounds like the other. You know what I'm saying? Each song kind of sounds like the other, and it's like you don't got to be angry, but at this point you're so rich, you're already so famous. Don't compromise. Make what you want to make, you know, and people want to buy it, they'll buy it. Hell, they bought Saint Anger, they bought that trash, so you know.
Oh boy, that was a bad album, Saint Anger. Oh my god.
Invisible Kid, singing about invisible kids and shit, you know.
That album was just, that album sounded like, I don't even know what the fuck that sounded like. Stinking Corpse is like, yes, Mega, that Jago, Leonard Skinner for sure for me. He loves Leonard Skinner. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go with the movies then, man. What's your taste in movies? What sort of movies do you like? What are maybe 3 of your favorites?
That's the thing about me. It's hard to pick favorites for anything. Music, food, movies, games. I'm connoisseur, I guess, but I like all kinds of stuff, like Shawshank Redemption, The Green, like Devil's Advocate, fucking a movie called K-Pax. It's kind of weird that I like with Kevin Spacey. Now we know him as Kevin Malasty, and then you know, the new Avengers Infinity War looks insane, but you know, I'm not one of those guys that's like, no, Marvel, DC. I like both. I'm rooting for the underdog right now, which is DC. I want them to get their shit together, you know. But I enjoyed Justice League. A lot of people didn't. I gave it like an 8, I think. That's a good movie.
I like that.
That trailer's nuts.
I agree. I liked Justice League. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was action-packed. I mean, the special effects were a little bit corny in some places. I mean, obviously they got a little bit too much CGI, but you know, it was a pretty good start. I thought it was entertaining. That's the bottom line. That's what you really want in any movie. I don't know.
CGI was unacceptable though in spots. You're right. Like Cyborg, that was just like a joke, and really, it just has that stench of Warner Brothers executives interference all over it. They restricted it to under 2 hours. They made the budget for CGI should have been, the time wasn't there, and you know, it has issues, but I still enjoyed it.
Why don't fucking, you know, DC or the people in charge of the DC movies actually like go and hire like a top-notch guy, like say like a James Cameron or somebody to fucking do a movie for them?
I think they are actually. I heard that Steven Spielberg was in talks to do a DC movie. And they've got Matt Reeves now working on the next Batman movie, and that's like the first real tested, like, say we will about Snyder, he had a really cool style and stuff, but he should have never been handed the keys to Batman versus Superman. The resume wasn't there with, you know, the track record that it needed to have for something like that. But they gave it to him anyway. But now they're handed off to Matt Reeves, who did the most recent Planet of the Apes trilogy, and I would say that he's done a good enough job to warrant a chance with Batman for sure.
Yeah, those are good movies actually. Planet of the Apes, Shawshank Redemption's on a lot of people's lists. Yes, Shawshank Redemption was a really well done movie. It's too bad it was pretty much one of Tim Robbins' only decent movies.
Yeah, he kind of disappeared. I'm not familiar with much of his work.
No. Cool, man. You got some good taste in movies. DC or Marvel? I think. So which one do you prefer?
Like I said, I don't have a big preference there. I think that with the games, DC is killing it, and with the movies, Marvel's statistically they're killing it. And I root for both because I'm a fan of both. But right now, I want DC to come back a little harder, and I want those Warner Brothers executives to mind their own fuckholes and get out of the way and let these people make some good movies and stop compromising on what a Batman or Superman movie could be, or Justice League movie could be. Just let them do it. Let them take their time. I wish more people would figure out that you've got to take time on memorable projects like this. Like God of War took 5 fucking years to make, you know?
Yeah.
It takes time. And
Marvel's killing it.
Compromise on that.
It's true, Jacob. Marvel's killing it really well with the fucking in the movies, and DC's got some really good shows like with Netflix and stuff, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of just like both, and I think I benefit if both are putting out top-notch stuff, you know.
What's your favorite snack, man? What do you like to chow down on when you're ready to hit a big game session? Do you the carrot sticks or the fucking potato chips?
It's mainly what macros will allow, really.
Yeah.
So.
Fucking drama pretzels or what?
drama pretzels, love them. Snacks? I don't know, man. If I'm eating, I like to eat, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't sit here and snack too often, honestly. It's probably I'll go get some fucking pasta or something, you know, if I'm trying to eat.
Right.
Yeah, it just depends.
When you're not gaming, what do you like to do? What do you like to do in your spare time?
Music.
Do you play? Do you play guitar?
So, yeah, guitar.
Awesome.
Summer's coming up. You know, that's gonna be nice. So, are you down?
Yeah, I'm over here behind one of the cauldrons.
Hang
I'm
on.
going to go get it. It's like my life doesn't come back up or something. Fucking blocking these guys and then fucking.
Shit.
You down?
Yeah, it's just finding the time of the day. Like that, the day just disappears a lot of times, you know.
Yeah. I hear you, man.
Right now, I'm playing Rise on a Room.
Shooting the shit, mixing it up with Newf.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's asking if your PC is good to go. Yeah, we were talking about that before we started the mixer here.
I just got it in today, and I can give a brief summary. But long story short, ordered a PC, had an 8700K in it for rendering, and got it. 2 weeks in, it started crashing. Got some different RAM. Apparently, that was the issue. Then the hard drive started slowing down, and then they're like, hey, everything's going out on this thing. The motherboard's going out. Ordered a new motherboard. That didn't work, so I think the power supply is zapping everything at this point.
Yeah.
So that was gone for about 3 weeks. Ordered a new PC 2 weeks after I ordered it. They're like, hey, your order auto canceled because they're backed up over there. I'm guessing because of GPU shortages and stuff. I said, okay, find me one that's already built and nearby.
Sure.
And right, if I could do this over, I would have never did it this way. I wouldn't have gone pre-built, but I didn't think it'd be this complicated.
No, for sure.
So they found me one. They found me an Alienware Aurora R7, and they had that overnighted in, and I got that today. They swapped my 1080 in it. It's got an 8700 in it, i7, 16 gigs of RAM, and I got that today. Been setting it up, and yeah, now I'm doing this. I literally just got it today, so it's a nice, cool, water-cooled PC. Running good so far. Got a couple SSDs in it.
Gotcha.
God damn, Newf, you gotta dodge. Hit that B button like a light.
Oh, fucking my dude gets stuck in these animation loops, and I keep getting smacked. Like, stop doing the animation, dude. Ah, fuck. Damn it.
I'm gonna have to come back to you.
I used to be good at this shit. What's going on here? Right on. All right, so let's. We're gonna get into some of our top on the dock tonight, about 6 in total. So I'm just gonna bring them up here once I get away from the fucking asshats. Oh man, got clobbered, so they're gonna pull up the. Yeah, don't worry about me, man. If I die, I die. All right, so let's get into a couple topics. Not a whole lot of crazy ones here this week. I mean, one that's been making quite the stir. COD Black Ops 4 has been rumored. I don't know if it's confirmed. Maybe you can tell me on this, dealer. But Ace Junkie, what's going on, man? Thanks for dropping in, checking out the stream. But anyway, COD Black Ops 4 looks like it's rumored or maybe confirmed to not have an actual story-based campaign, which would be a first ever for a Call of Duty game. What's your take on that, dealer? You think this is legit? Do you even give a shit about it or not?
I think that's a great way for Activision to figure out how to make me not ever buy a Call of Duty again. That's the main reason I bought it. Seeing as every Call of Duty multiplayer feels the same for the past 12 years now almost. Yeah. You know, just aside from the I can jump jet now and whatever, but it's just the single player was the thing. And if Activision, who are already making so much money every year, it's fucking ridiculous, can't fork over enough to make a campaign because they want to save some money, then out of just principle alone, I won't be buying any more of their shit. They're already the most scummy company out there, so. No, me, I'm no fan of these fuckers at all.
No. Push the envelope more so than any other company. People say EA is
How
bad.
much shit can we get away with today?
But they're really bad.
Yeah, they are.
Like, and you know why I think they're starting to think they can get away with it? Because I don't know that, because we know that each studio, right, was given now like the reins to a certain franchise, and they were given like 2 or 3 years to make a game. So they basically haven't changed their engine since the last time fucking somebody changed their ass underwear. So
about 6 years for an Activision executive, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bobby Kotick still haven't changed his underwear. They haven't changed their game engine. I mean, I don't get it, right? And then second of all, the reason I think they're going to get away with it is because they've seen how the DLC has been selling for Call of Duty, which is pretty well, and a lot of that comes with that zombie fucking shit in the pack. So I think what they're trying to do is they're going to see how well they can sell this game without a campaign. They cut some money because they don't have to spend the time and resources to make a campaign. And then basically it's like, oh, well, maybe they have the campaign, they're not telling people, and they're just going to sell it to you as a DLC pack, which wouldn't fucking surprise me either. Or they'll make it like as part of their ongoing DLC, maybe to drive up the numbers, so they'll get the single-player guys to go in and buy the DLC too now. I don't know. You think that's a possibility? Because I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, I don't want to assume anything. Even though I think they are fucking stupid enough to try to do this. I don't want to assume it because some of the reports are saying it won't have a traditional single player, which means it's going to be different, if it does have one at all. So, you know, they could do it, they might not. If they do it, I'm not buying it. And I know a lot of people won't either.
I won't buy it.
I'm burnt out on multiplayer, honestly, for the most part. I'm having fun in this, but this is co-op. I'm kind of at a state where I'm burnt out on multiplayer because I feel like everything's got multiplayer.
Yeah.
I'm looking for more unique experiences, kind of like God of War, so stuff like that.
I'm with you. I'm not buying it. I mean, I know I've said that in the past in Call of Duty games and went back on my word, but the only reason I bought the last one was because it went back to World War II. It was boots on the ground, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, right? So,
that was the first one I bought since Modern Warfare 3 was World War II.
Yeah, and I haven't, I skipped over quite a few myself after that. Most of the Black Ops ones, I think I bought the first Black Ops and that was it. So, I mean, I got them now because of the backwards compatibility stuff and the fact, but yeah. Salty says, dealer, you just need to get good. Hell, enjoy multiplayer more.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, I won't
It's
be
not
buying
that I struggle, really, honestly. Like when I was playing Battlefield 3 and 4 pretty hard, I was always, you know, top 3 pretty easily, just playing my role and just being competent at the controls. It's just that right now, anyway, you know, if you play God of War, you kind of understand that those types of experiences are worth investing in, and they're unique. So I'd rather play that right now than fucking, you know, a PUBG or Fortnite or something like that. I'm just not into it right now. Don't mean I won't be in 6 months though.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I agree, man. Like, multiplayer now is I mean, it depends on what game you're playing, but there's so much of it in different games. It's hard to keep up unless you're playing one all the time. Like, you know, you move from game to
I just realized
my
problem. I just realized my problem right when I said that. You know what my problem is recently with multiplayer and why I'm not feeling it? It's because we've been getting shit like Battlefront 1, Battlefield 1, all this stuff that has 4 fucking guns, very few maps, no customization, and it's just not fucking full flat. Like if Battlefield 4
right
were running perfectly at launch and didn't, you know, take a year for it to work, you know, that's the type of shooter I will go and play today. And I played it like months ago, right? I'll go back and play that one before I'll play the new ones. Because there's just a ton of stuff and camos and attachments and 4-player squad work. And, you know, I go play Battlefront 2 and I'm like, I can't even spawn on my squad mate. Like, I just, stuff like that, like, kind of just feels like it's missing here lately. And with Battlefield 1, there's like 5 fucking guns in that game, and I'm just like, no, there's no customization. Like, what I'm waiting on, honestly, to cut it short, is Bad Company 3 or a proper modern day, well optimized, fully featured modern day shooter from Battlefield. That's what I'm waiting on. But it's been a while since Battlefield 4.
You gotta go up and man the other turret there, dealer.
Oh, dude, I'm sitting here running around in a circle.
You gotta go man the Scurvy. We're gonna get people coming across the bridge. I guess we gotta defend it here.
Alright. Doesn't it feel like games are kind of lacking here lately, though, with the multiplayer front? Like it's...
Well, they're starting to run out of ideas, and now everybody, all of a sudden, now everybody's like, oh, let's copy the PUBG fucking Battle Royale mode, and you're going to do it better. I don't see the point. Like, not every game, in my opinion, needs a Battle Royale mode. I'm not going to play it. I like the multiplayer in Call of Duty World War II, to be honest. I mean, it didn't exactly reinvent the wheel. It's pretty much the same shit as we've more or less always played.
Sock grenade out.
Tube sock grenade out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even play much multiplayer stuff anymore, to be honest. I think the most I played co-op was with Sea of Thieves, oddly enough, and I just traded that game in. I wasn't going to play that much anymore, so traded in for God of War.
What do you mean? You traded that game in? Why would you do that?
Oh, I don't know. I wonder why. The fucking game doesn't even have a full freaking Kraken, for crying out loud. How the hell does that happen?
It's supposed to evolve in over the months.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's gonna get an extra tentacle, is it? Every patch, we're gonna add an arm.
We gotta give a shout out to give a shout out to Xbot for that one. Shout out to Xbot real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves. You know my opinion on the damn game. You know I felt all kinds of hell for that fucking opinion.
I mean, I bought it because everybody else was buying it, but after I played it, so like the last time I played it, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna play this game much anymore. It's just too fucking mundane. Let's get on a ship, sail on an island, kill a pig, get a treasure.
I mean, it has fun, but definitely try it in Game Pass, you know. Though I don't want that to become an excuse. Well, you know, Game Pass. No, it's not supposed to be an excuse. Game Pass is not supposed to be there to safeguard a game from proper criticism. That's not how it works, you know. So definitely try it in Game Pass. Don't take the L on it, but yeah.
That game should have been able to sell on its own without Game Pass. It should have been the kind of game that people wanted without even needing Game Pass. It should have been just a bonus for Game Pass. And I mean, it is. It's still a bonus, but you know what I'm saying, dealer? Maybe. Like you didn't have to twist people's arms to go out and buy God of War, right? Like you saw the videos, you saw the graphics. It was kind of like, man, you got to have this game. And we're going to talk about that here. That's one of the big topics. But I'm trying to get back on point with the Call of Duty. So is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Do you care? I think you basically more or less said if without a campaign, you're not too interested. Is that correct?
Yep. Sure. Yeah, I don't think anybody should just let that go, because Activision last year, and only 1/3 of that came from selling games. The rest of it was microtransactions, just free money on the top. And for them to just say, you know what, no, we're going to offer the customer less. They have no reason or excuse to ever offer any customer less.
Yeah. No, you should never give a customer less. You're going to charge them $80. And as I said, I can smell it right now. I can smell it as like a fucking fresh fart after McDonald's. It's just look, they're gonna screw you. They're gonna sell you the fucking multiplayer, and then they're gonna put in some kind of campaign bullshit. When people bitch and complain, trust me, they're gonna add something, and it'll be some kind of DLC that they charge you another $30 for. So mark my words, Activision are the craftiest fucks on the planet. If you smell what the rock's cooking, Salty says.
It could be, man, but then again, though, I don't want to assume too much, because they're saying it's not going to be traditional, and that could mean a couple different things. Like, hey, you want to have the traditional multiplayer at all, or hey, this single player rather. You want this traditional single player, or hey, this game will not even have single player like it traditionally does. You know.
Yeah, it might have. You know those you know, like even like the campaign in Battlefield 1, how it was a campaign, but it wasn't like a successive campaign. It was kind of split up into segments, and it was like different places. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't one congruent story. It was kind of all over the place. Maybe that's what they're talking about. It's kind of going with, it sort of broke up. It could be different characters, different timelines, and maybe that could be it too. So I guess it's too early to tell, but yeah, we'll figure it out pretty soon.
I think it's easier for them to write a short story and make it good than it is for them to make a giant 10-hour thing and for it to be really, really quality.
Absolutely. It's probably what they're going for is just something that they can justify a shorter campaign. Maybe a different thing, maybe different characters, so they can find out what works and what doesn't work either, right? So, all right, let's move into topic number 2, because that's, let's get into it here. Get off my dude here. Fucking phone stops. All right, let's get into topic number 2, and that is the reaction to God of War, guys. God of War is finally out. It's in people's hands. A lot of people have played it. I've never seen so many people on my PlayStation friends list ever play one game as they're playing God of War, so that's pretty cool. Dealer, you've had a chance to play it, obviously. What are your impressions now? Do you think it's living up to sort of that hype, those very large scores, or not?
Oh, yeah, those are legit, and it's definitely, it's at least a 92 for me right now. Like, at least. I'm not even done with the game. And keep in mind, I've been going hard in this fucking game since I got it, and that was Thursday night, so... I mean, I didn't get to play it every day or all, a lot every day, but the last couple days I've been going really hard in it, and I'm still not done. It does link back to the old games. There's a big part of this game that's got to do with the old games, as you probably know by now, Newf. And there is side content. It's not like Witcher style of, side missions, of course. No other game has that really to that quality, but it's got some pretty cool incentives to explore that map, and I recommend everybody take that boat around the lake and just kind of trace the lake and find the caverns and the caves and go in there and see everything, and the water drops, do it again, and so on. But yeah, that's how I've been approaching it, and it's a lot of enemy types and stuff I'm just now stumbling on here in the last day and stuff. It's a great game, man. Like, what can I say? It looks good, it plays good, the dialogue's good, the story's pretty good. It's unique. It's good. This stuff I've been clamoring for.
So two of the biggest, I suppose, complaints we heard from, we'll say more of the Xbox crowd, because I think a lot of the PlayStation guys were, hyping the shit out of this, and there was very few that had anything negative to say. Not that there is anything negative, but two of the things was people were kind of worried about the relationship of Kratos and Atreus. They were thinking, oh, it's going to be like a daddy daycare kind of thing. And the second thing was the combat, right? Because obviously it is certainly varied. It's different than it was in the original game, quite a bit so.
It's better than it ever has been. Just keep it 100. I think it's better than any God of War in every single way. If you go back and play God of War 3 or even go watch a video. Kratos was kind of a cheesy fuck, yelling, I will get my revenge, like it was... compared to now, where this is a more humanized, because you got to remember, Kratos is a human turned god. Had families and stuff, and he had a reason for getting his revenge, but it was all very exaggerated, kind of like an anime. And now he's a lot more human. You can tell they flew Neil Druckheimer over there and was like, hey, make this guy relatable and cool and interesting and layered, and it's by far the best version of Kratos. The combat gets deeper and deeper with all those upgrades. I can't say much bad about the new version of God of War at all.
I think the funniest thing, actually, I really like it. I mean, the old game was more of an action arcade game, like, to me, than anything. I mean, it had some story, but it felt like it played more of a second fiddle to, just the over-top action. It was the Mortal Kombat of adventure games, if you think about it. Like lots of over-glorified kills and combos and stuff. And this one feels more like the actual combat itself has a weight to it. It has a very, you have to think a little bit more about your strikes and your counters. You can't just kind of mash a button and hope for the best. It doesn't always work. I also like the relationship with Atreus. It's like he holds his own. He helps you out. He's not just this, oh my God, he's stuck in a corner and he's whining again, or I got to save him for the 3,000th time. So I think they pull that off quite well. There's also some great dialogue too that makes you really laugh. Like, the relationship with him and his dad, you can feel he wants his dad's attention, but he hasn't really been giving it to him. His mother's been kind of more the focal point in his life. And I know there's one part where you're carrying those blue gemstones up on his shoulder, and I died laughing because he's, he's carrying this giant gemstone, and the little kid goes, are you planning to carry that everywhere? And Kratos just kind of goes, I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, because
in his dark voice.
What was funny about that for me was I was just thinking that. I was like, am I really going to carry this fucking thing over here? And the kid said that. It's like, are you going to carry that? Really? You got to carry that? And he's like, I just may, just to spite you, kind of like that tone.
Yeah, he's got that man. And the whole game is just kind of funny because Kratos is just like, come here, boy. Over here, boy. It's, yeah, you're a stupid boy.
It's a complex relationship, though. Like, it's not daddy daycare. You kind of feel bad for the kid, really, for a while. And Kratos wants to show him the affection that the kid really wants, but he's kind of afraid to. And he's kind of timid, and all that stuff's very well translated throughout the game. And I don't know how far you are, Newf, and we can't even talk about it here, but the combat, too, got to speak on this, because it's not just axe combat. There are several different ways to do combat, both ranged and melee, and there are more weapons in the game that they're not going to show you in the reviews. You know, so if you've been watching the reviews and you're like, I don't like that axe combat, there are more weapons in the game, so they're not going to show them to you. But they're there.
I think we go down, or we got to go in the middle on this map.
I'm on the bridge. I'm over here on the bridge.
Yeah, the icon's on the bridge, but I don't know. Yeah, no, the combat is combat is quite good when you get used to it, and you get used to how the enemies act and react. You know, they do have a level. They have a life system now. Like that's a little bit different. Where most of the enemies in the past, they didn't have that system. It was they took multiple hits, right? So it's kind of interesting. You have to play the range. You have to play the close range stuff. It's really cool, and then you get used to distracting enemies with Atreus and stuff. I love it. I mean, I think the game is deadly, and the graphics itself. I mean, boy, I just got the standard PlayStation 4, and fucking game looks unbelievably good. Like it just blows my mind, actually. How good this game looks, the foliage, the reflections, the color variation, the detail on Kratos and Atreus is absolutely nuts. Like the textures look really good. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying it. Like, see, even on a base model, I mean, I don't think it goes above 30 frames, but it still runs very smooth. I didn't notice at any particular time a whole lot of slowdown or jankiness, so that's impressive. I mean, there's less enemies on the screen than other God of War games, but the enemies that you fight are definitely a lot more challenging than they were in other games.
More deadly, yeah. I wish some other games would do that, honestly. Like, stop just hoarding enemies out there and improve the combat and the complexity, because the just slashing through numbers thing just gets old after a while. You want each enemy to be a little more deadly. This game definitely reminds me of Dark Souls. I have very little experience with that game. But there's some enemies in this game where it's like, whoa, okay, I understand the reference now. And you'll just find him out and about, you know, and you're like, he's just sitting there with this big-ass shield on his back, chilling, until you get up too close to him, you know? Kind of like Dark Souls, like, and they're dangerous, man, they are.
Well, as far as I'm on the lake right now, actually, in terms of the game. I don't know how many hours, but I just beat that flying boss. I don't know what the hell his name is, Schlogmeyer or some fucking thing, I don't know. Did you fight him? He's like a big blue guy with like horns, and he flies around, and he's in the dark.
In the Dark Elf realm?
Yeah, it's Dark Elf realm, yeah.
Yeah, you're still kind of at the beginning.
The fly boss, yeah, I'm still like way back. I thought even the battle with the stranger...
the coolest stuff in the game, like, you haven't even seen, bro. Like, it only gets better, honestly, so... that first boss fight was a standout, but there's some really cool, ridiculous stuff ahead of you, and the visuals on some of these boss fights you're going to see, pretty insane.
Well, it's pretty cool fighting the Death Eaters, the big rock dudes and stuff, and there's dudes going around. The stranger at the beginning was a pretty awesome fight, too. Like, that one took me kind of by surprise. Like, man, this is cool, you know? You flatten him with a giant fucking boulder, and then all of a sudden he comes back. I mean, I'm sorry, I giving away some spoilers here for those who haven't played it, but
yeah, I'm trying not to do that.
Yeah, but that was early in the game. You guys will see that anyway. So God of War, I think it's safe to say that I mean 10 could be extreme, but it depends on your point of view. I definitely think it deserves a high 9. The game is virtually flawless
10 out there.
And what do you what do you think of seeing? I mean, because some people are like laughing at Cory Barlog because he got emotional after the reviews, and I think it's sad because I think it's just like, I mean, you know, people don't understand.
Half a decade of his life.
5 years, and you took a big gamble. This game could have been like literally, it could have been like critically acclaimed. It also been a flop in so many ways because it was so different from the other God of Wars. Like they took a huge risk. It's been 5 years of their life putting this together. There's so much that could have gone wrong for these guys. you know, so in all those hours away from family and friends to make a game that you want people to love but you don't know, right? So I think it was awesome. That just shows he's passionate about his product, and I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, imagine working on one thing for 5 years straight and just knowing what it almost was and how it turned out. Because apparently their first concept Sony turned down. They wouldn't let them make a traditional style God of War. They told them no, come back with something different. And they came up with this, and it seems like common sense now, but at the time, like with Xbox One X, like 6 teraflops to 4K, it was impossible. It's gonna be $800, but now everyone's like, of course it is.
Yeah.
It is, right? Because it's done. Everything's so much easier to say when it's done. But those guys 5 years ago were taking this risk, and it finally paid off in a big way, and they just became one of Sony's, you know, most anticipating studios. Like they're one of Sony's biggest studios now after those reviews. Their best rated game they've made all generations. And
Yeah,
people point to Last of Us, but I mean that was on PS3. You know, that's old shit. This is new stuff. Standards have risen.
And that's a pretty insane testament too. Not only that, but the beat out games that, you know, were games of the generation prior to. You're beating out The Last of Us and Horizon Zero Dawn, you know, for these high accolades. It's crazy, right?
Horizon Zero Dawn was just, to me, overrated anyway. Like that should be more of an 80. I don't know what it is. I think it's an 89 somehow, which is insulting. It doesn't hold a candle to God of War's fart. Like it's not even close. So I kind of get insulted when people compare Horizon to Witcher or God of War or something like that, because it's not even close to half the game. And when it comes to how that game connects with people,
well,
it just doesn't.
Horizon Zero Dawn could have done with a lot less of the filler. That's the thing. God of War doesn't feel like it's filler. It feels like everything has a rhyme and a purpose. Whereas I found with Horizon Zero Dawn, yes, it was good, the combat was good, the graphics were amazing, but there was just too much. Like, to me, that would have been a better game if it wasn't open world and it was just more like Hellblade, where it was a focused narrative game. I think it would have been better, in my personal opinion, because that was the only thing I really didn't like. Just didn't like doing all these find my leg missions and shit that didn't fucking make any sense. It's like, you know, I know Pat laughs all the time in that game. And there was a lot of repetitive enemies, and it was just like, I don't know, but I still thought it was good.
It was trying to be a big open world RPG when it should have been more of a focused narrative, linear experience. Because it only had the content to provide something that a very linear game would, you know, could give you in a very high quality.
Jago says, come on, dealer, you don't like the robot dinosaurs? He says the whole armor system is kind of... He's talking about God of War in this comment. He says the whole armor system is kind of convoluted, but he's getting used to it. I mean, it takes a little time. Other God of War games are pretty simplistic. You filled up the meter and you got a better weapon, and that was all there was to it. Now, you have choices. They're giving you choices of what armor you want to wear and which ones has the mystic values. I think it's great. I think
now, my question is, though... You've got different resources, and I can't find some of them. Like, I'm never getting some of these other resources, and I don't know where to get them from. So I can't build, like, any of the level 7 stuff or any of that stuff, so I don't know where to get them because I'm not getting any of those resources, and I feel like there's a part of the game that I'm missing.
How do I beat these firefuckers? They keep hitting me all the time.
You gotta stun them. You gotta stun them and dodge.
Big fucking guy just went right through my dodge. Yeah, Hoopy's in the chat here. Hoopy, thanks for stopping by, man. It's Horizon Zero Dawn is pretty good. Side quests were a bit trash, so they were a little bit lackluster. There's too many of them. I found at one point in that game, by the time I finished, I thought I finished that game like 3 times, and then like it kept on going. I was like, Jesus, is this game ever going to end? You know,
yeah. It's one of those games where it's like it should have ended sooner, and I honestly have no desire to go back and play that game at all.
Yeah.
None. Like, it just, I don't know. Maybe it's just because the time it came out, it was just so overrated. Because people, you know, those typical Sony guys, they didn't have a game since Uncharted 4 hardly, and they kind of really pumped this one up, and the reviewers just were super easy on the game because the voice acting was atrocious, the side missions were garbage. They were garbage. This is because you gotta keep in mind your competition is games like Witcher 3. Your side missions in Horizon Zero Dawn were fucking garbage. Find me this, find me that. You know, let's go fucking do this thing. Like, it wasn't great, but the The mechanics were kind of cool. The traps for the dinosaurs were cool. The combat was cool. The movement was cool. The game looked good. But to say that's an 89 is kind of, like I said, insane. It's more like a low 80, in all actuality, without the hype and the bullshit behind it. God of War is on a different it's in a different realm. And with God of War, you do one thing, and then you're like, oh fuck, all right, I gotta do this now. And it like you said, everything has a purpose, and everything just keeps getting kind of cooler as you go. Yeah. Like it doesn't just drop off, you know. It's still going.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Both for me and Dealer, guess God of War deserves the praise, the hype, and the sales. It is a phenomenal game. Kudos to Santa Monica Studio, and then for delivering what is definitely one of the best games, I think, or could even be the best game of this generation. Whether something will be better, who the hell knows. But yeah, phenomenal effort from those guys. Congrats to them. Segueing into sort of something that ties into this, obviously, lots of people making a big deal of the Xbox executive. Mike Ibarra talking about streaming this game, taking some flack from the Xbox faithful. Some people don't give a shit, but some people are making a big deal, saying like it's
how many people are making a big deal? Is it just one person, or is it like actually a bunch of people?
Well, it's hard to say. I've seen multiple people. I mean, they're not like, oh my god, like end of the world, but you know, I think it's a looks because he's. I don't care what Mike Ibarra does in his spare time. It's his money. It's his free time. But I do kind of see some part of the politeness. Like it is a competitor. It is one of their main games, and you don't see a Sony guy going, "Hey, I'm going to stream Halo 5 tomorrow night" or anything. You know. So, what's your take on it, man? You think?
Yeah, you don't see a Nike executive showing off a Reebok. You don't see a Sony executive using the Samsung TV. I get that, and I think Microsoft should be more aggressive. They have, by far, the bigger budget for their platform. They make more money. Like, the difference in money and the revenue is it's in a different realm once again. Yeah. I think right now, because you notice when Scorpio came up, they're only pushing that aggressive marketing when they know they've got it. And Scorpio was announced, like, all right, this is way better than the PlayStation, basically, you know, to sum it all up. When God of War comes out, they know they don't have an answer, so they're going to praise it. But if they had an answer, then they wouldn't praise it. So we'll have to wait and see what they unveil. But right now, I mean, they don't have an answer, and I'm sure Ibarra, even though I hear he's ADD as fuck, he can't, you know, concentrate on these types of games. I'm sure he still wants to fucking play the shit out of this game, you know, and see what it's about. Though I feel like he's doing it the wrong way. Like, don't stream games like this. You need to focus on a game like this. Try to role play, you know?
Well,
kind of like Witcher. You don't stream that game.
I think in light of everything that's happened with Xbox, where we've had us kind of a slow go in terms of the games, I don't think Xbox fans would mind so much if it came at a time where Xbox was also pumping out a fair share of their own amazing games. But you know, here we are, we need games to come out, and we're dying for just like even a tidbit of information to say this is coming out or get ready for this, and yet, you know, nothing. We see them promoting more other crap on their channels and on their own mixers or their streams than, you know, Xbox related stuff, essentially, or at least it seems that way, you know. So it's everything's about perception in the world, right? So
well, we do got to mention that Ibarra is not the marketing. It's not like the marketing guy is sitting there streaming fucking God of War. It's a little different, though I still do understand why people are like, what the fuck? You know, we could use a boost over here. We just got Sea of Thieves, and now State of Decay 2 is going to be fire, though. You'll see him streaming the hell out of State of Decay 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a full quality game that people are really going to enjoy. But right now, it's like God of War or nothing. You know?
Yeah. It might be different if PUBG ever comes to PlayStation and we catch them streaming PUBG on PlayStation. That'd be kind of weird.
That'll never happen. I mean, if it runs like trash on the Xbox and they're saying that's a CPU bottleneck,
yeah.
The base Xbox has a faster CPU than the base PS4, and the X has a faster CPU than the Pro, so it's definitely going to run like trash on the PlayStation.
Yeah, guys, worry more about if Mike Ibarra starts playing a multi-plat on a different console. Then start worrying, because then it's almost like putting down the Xbox One X. But he's playing a console exclusive. You can't play on an Xbox, so I wouldn't worry about it. He's having fun. You know, it's a milestone for the industry, and you know, they can take away things too by playing those games. Like, okay, well, this is what's successful for the competition. So this is what we need to do for our console. These are things we need to take to our development team and say, this is what they're doing well. This is what they're not doing well. You know, so I don't know. I just, yeah,
I was actually going to point that out. I was like, you want these games to be successful on the other platform, especially if you're a single player. You like these kinds of experiences. You know, it's another option for a lot of people that enjoy this. Obviously, I hear this one set records for PlayStation or something already. A lot of people enjoy this stuff as much as people want damage control. It's not a one and done. It's an experience that's going to stick with you for 15 years. You know, these aren't more fun and memories with Inside. That game did some really awesome stuff that I won't forget anytime soon. And I had more fun in 40 hours. I got more from that game in 4 hours than I did from Sea of Thieves at 40 hours, which is how much time I put Sea of Thieves about. So
yeah, exactly.
It's not always about the time. It's about the experience. And you can have a game that's pretty long like God of War. I'm still running through it. Been going hard since Thursday. You know, and also a top-notch experience. And if this game does well on PlayStation, then Phil Spencer's probably playing it right now to keep it real. He probably is playing the fuck out of God of War right now. And like, hey, you know what? This is worth investing in. They're setting records over there, and it's a game that's getting hyped. Like, multiplayer's run down. It's harder to get really good ratings from multiplayer because it's been done to death. And if you bring a good quality single player, that something sticks with the reviewer, and it's people, you know, there's absolutely no wrong going to come from that.
No,
even though Polygon beat PUBG at 10 somehow.
And I'm sure when Xbox does bring out some games that are on the level and of the caliber God of War, I'm sure they'll end up promoting it as well. I mean, we might not see a Sony guy promoting it, but at least Xbox guys will promote it. And at the end of the day, it's all that matters. Like you said, the game industry right now is
we're
healthy.
Xbox dudes too, you know. Like,
yeah,
I think people know that. We're hardcore Xbox guys. I got 110 something thousand gamer score and 400 games, and you know, like, you know, God of War gave me a reason to boot up my Pro for the first time in like 7 months or whatever. Like, first time to want to play that thing, and it's great. But after that, I'm done with it. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't like to have that experience on the Xbox instead. Like, I'd rather have Microsoft pumping out stuff like this and rather than the competition, because I want to see Xbox get better.
Yeah, well, Green has put his point in the chat. Since Phil Spencer's actually been playing some Hellblade lately. I know Mike Ibarra was playing that, and good on them. I hope Hellblade sells really well. Off to a half decent start. I mean, 50,000 in just a couple of days, which is not too bad, especially for a game that you can't buy physically.
Phil Spencer has put substantial time into God of War already. I guarantee
probably.
I guarantee it. A lot of these guys have already played God of War a good amount of time. I mean, it's just how it is. Just because Hellblade's on don't mean Phil's done playing it.
Absolutely.
You think Larry Herb is on Xbox that much? You think it's not his kids?
Yeah. Well,
that guy ain't playing all that weird shit.
Jagos is a hardcore Xbox guy first, always in a multi-console. And most of us are. Like, look, me and Dealer already said earlier, we've all had PlayStations. I think everybody here has had a PlayStation. Nobody hates PlayStation in here. That's not the key. I think the shit that Xbox guys have always said, I'm a component for that, is that it seems like a lot of times PlayStation just gets a pass on different things, and Xbox gets, you know, they can do the exact same thing on the exact same day, but Xbox gets the flack and PlayStation gets the pass. You know, it's like I say with Nintendo. Nintendo just announced or just brought out the Labo, right? Now, I'm just thinking about it. I don't know for sure, but if Xbox did something like Labo right now, I think they'd be fucking laughed all the way to the damn bank. Like, people would be like, what the hell is Microsoft thinking? They're ripping people off, but Nintendo gets away with it. Sony does bullshit all the time, gets away with it. Like, I don't get it. And Microsoft gets flack for everything. And that's kind of where I think a lot of us, when we do podcasts, we're just trying to say, like, we don't get why there's always such a double-sided sword between the companies. It's crazy.
What are we supposed to do over here? I've killed like 5,000 people. I feel like they're not going to.
We got to go to that little thing over there.
It really is hard to play this when you're multitasking here.
Oh, totally. That's why I try to play something very simplistic, and this one's got objectives. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got to destroy this thing here, or they keep coming out. I think to save these guys here. Yeah, I think that's part of it. And Microsoft always looks like the big corporation bully, you know, the guy that they're looked at as the company that kind of come in and pushed their nose into the video game business and didn't belong there, and then they got successful, and people are like, oh, well, you know, that sort of thing. I don't know. But anyway, as far as
they've had a lot of interesting stuff happen this generation. So they've had a lot of setbacks and management. You know, decisions and just a lot of stuff happened where Sony's kind of been letting these games cook for half a decade, and they're finally hitting. And before this year, to me, what appeals to me and what I'd bought on that platform, it's been one game a year over the past couple of years, where, you know, the Uncharted 4 and the next year you had Horizon Zero Dawn. Those are the only two things in those 2 years that are on that whole platform that appealed to me. Total, where the rest of that year was like Gravity Rush and weird stuff like that that I would never play. So they're finally getting like God of War and Spider-Man, and I pick up Detroit, but that's finally more than one game this year that I'll actually want to play, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, they finally got stuff cooking. It's coming out. It's good stuff.
Diego says the Xbox filled a Sega void for me, and I think it did for a lot of people, because even when the original Xbox came out, they had a pretty tight relationship with Sega, and they brought out a lot of the some of the Sega games like Shenmue and Jet Set Radio, and there was a bunch of Dreamcast basically style games that came over to the Xbox. It was pretty cool, and you can see that relationship again is starting to come to the forefront now here. Recently, if you noticed, there's a lot of like Sega games sort of coming to backwards compat and stuff. Last month we had Crazy Taxi. This month we're getting Vanquish and something else, I think. I forget what it is. Streets of Rage. So there's definitely something up with Sega and Microsoft. This might be just the start of big things to come. I don't know, but definitely something going on there. Well, like I said, it was only a month or two ago. I was at Sega took a studio tour, wasn't it? Of Microsoft or something. They came to see him, so that kind of makes you wonder what the hell is going on, right?
I guess, man. Like, I'm not one of those that's gonna be like, yeah, get exclusive Sega games. Like, no, that's not what anyone should be really thinking, honestly. Like,
me either.
They haven't produced anything that's been inspired for a long time. And maybe they've got new, I know they were bought a couple years ago, and maybe they've got some new shit going on there with some real good talent. You never know. But, you know, because I kind of wrote Capcom off. And then Resident Evil 7 came out. Great game. You know, you just never know. But to pay a lot of money for Sega games is kind of odd to me. That's not exactly what I think, anyway.
Well, we need good IPs for Sega, right? Sega, like you said, Sega really hasn't been relevant for very long. You know what I mean?
Last several Sonic games have been not great. Aside from
Sonic,
the newest one I hear, but
Sonic Mania, which was pretty good, but little studio, like a little 2D game. As far as 3D Sonics, they haven't exactly blown the doors off things. Certainly not up to with the Mario, that's for sure. And
Sonic Mania is just the old games kind of remixed. You know, there's nothing that's like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying. He's later.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic here. Just try not to get killed when I'm trying to bring it up. All right, so looks like Miramar is a map coming to the PUBG on the Xbox One here. I think it comes out tomorrow. So what do you think of that, Dealer? I don't know if you're a big PUBG fan or not, but what do you think of a new map coming? I guess it's going to only be a good thing if you're a PUBG fan.
Yeah, I mean, a new map's good, but I'd like
the game to actually run. I was going to say, you actually like the game to actually run like fucking butter for a change?
No, honestly, the game, a lot of these idiots on Twitter, like little trolls, well, they're fanboys who call themselves trolls, so everyone says it's okay, but, you know, so the game runs at 14 frames per second. I'm like, well, even at launch, it wasn't true. I mean, it took like 30 seconds after you hit the ground for the frame rate to finally hit, but it runs on average at around 30 frames per second. That's always been true. It would just have really weird drops, and when you're driving, it's a different story, but then you play Fortnite, and you're like, okay, this is kind of hard to accept, because, you know, they're setting CPU bottleneck, got nothing to do with the art style, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. I would like a competent game first, of course, but it is a preview game, and I'll also say the fact that they got a cell phone game out there that actually runs really well first before they got the Xbox game running well is really annoying.
Doesn't that sound
but they
embarrassing?
know that
cell phone game.
They know that PUBG is it's a matter of time for the hype dies down. Fortnite's taking over. It's free. It's very hard to compete with, and you're already losing out to Fortnite. So, yeah, I mean, they know it's a matter of time. That's why they rush that cell phone game out as fast as possible. And at least that runs well, I guess. But that doesn't benefit me as the consumer for you to put this version on the back burner or have a different team instead of focusing all your energy on the games from preview on Xbox. You have another team making a cell phone game. You know, that doesn't benefit me. So.
Hoopy says if PUBG ran like Fortnite, it'd be amazing. I haven't played Fortnite, but I've seen it, and it definitely looks like it runs better. Indie games take forever to game because of small teams. Well, some cases that's true. Sometimes indie teams can put them out pretty quick. A game like Cuphead took a while because look at the friggin' art style in that game. They drew everything by hand, so.
That, and I think they used to only have the boss rush mode where you just face the bosses, and then Microsoft got involved and said, hey, we want to invest. Can you expand this a little bit to the side scrolling and the map stuff and all that? And it became a bigger game, so it took a little longer to make. Are you down? Or are you
no, I'm still going. Are you down?
No.
Goddamn phone.
I don't think I've gone down this whole... Well, no, I've gone down once surviving you, that's right.
Well, my counter thing is not working good. You know, like when they turn colors, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but like my dudes don't. I'm getting all these combos, but the little things don't pop up. You know, the skull above the head, so you can do the executions, and that's why my life is never going back up.
I'm not doing too many executions. I'm just slicing through them. Honestly, I'm just holding the X button and doing the power attack. And I'd rather do that than sit there and watch this animation I've seen 1,000 times.
Right, but when you're down on life though, that's how you get it back up.
Yeah, you need
my guy is not. He's not activating the execution sequence for some reason. What the fuck is going on? It's glitched or what? But I'm getting like the odd one every blue moon. It's really weird. So I'm like, why am I going down so much? I'm blocking and I'm dodging, and then all of a sudden it's just like, what the hell? Like my life's never going up. See, right now I'm fucking half dead again. Like I can't get my fucking life to go back up. What the hell is going on here?
I don't know, man.
We got something over here. Stand on this thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. They are unlimited until we do the objective, I guess. What were we just talking about?
Which trigger is it? You gotta hold the fucking right trigger, isn't it? And there you go.
That works.
No, I think somebody said a new map is tomorrow, wasn't it? Miramar on the Xbox?
Oh yeah, PUBG. Yeah, PUBG is what it is, man. I don't play it anymore, honestly. I'm over it.
Yeah. I never liked the game much to begin with. To me, it was like, it was good for a distraction, but people that are playing it like 7 and 8 hours, I don't get the infatuation with it. Like
every day a week.
It's like, Jesus, it's so annoying. And one thing that's annoying is getting killed by fucking people that are fucking smaller than a pimple on a rat's ass. It's like, can't see half these fucking things, even on a 70-inch TV. It's like, where the hell am I getting shot from? Let's move on to the next
4K,
topic.
yeah.
Even at 4K. What do you think Xbox needs to do, Dealer, to have a really successful or perceived successful E3? Like, what do you think fans really want to see here? A lot on the line this year.
Fire. You gotta fight fire with fire and show shit just the ways out.
Yep.
Sony have already shown you things that are 2020. Who knows if it's any later, but we know for sure it's some stuff's 2020. And Microsoft hasn't. They tried to show you something that you're going to get by the next E3. That's what they've said.
Yeah.
I think last year it was 76% of those games hit, and Sony's was 22%. So they are doing that more. But unfortunately, they had some delays last year. So there's no real telling what they'll do. But we need more than those third parties. We need something to get a little more stoked about. We've waited a while for that. I know they don't want another Crackdown, CSDs, or Quantum Break, or Scalebound situation. I understand the hesitation there, but, you know, because we saw those games for years. But, you know, maybe get your releasing under control. Make sure the stuff's solid and good to go. Get more people on it or something. Just make sure it comes out. But yeah, we need more first-party stuff that looks interesting, that's different, that's not Shannon Loftus-ified. Looks like it's for fucking children. I'm tired of that shit.
What? You know, they said it was Scream Ride 2?
I like that. Yeah, that's how you know that leak's fake. Like, a lot of that's already, it's a no-brainer, so it's like the guy just took the stuff that's obvious and then added some dumb shit to it, like Scream Ride 2. If Scream Ride 2 is real, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, if they really said, hey, let's take this game no one asked for, if they made it themselves anyway. Hey, let's take this game that no one asked for, that didn't review well, and make another one. Like I think they're doing this through Record 2. You know, some people like Record 2, some don't, but it wasn't that successful, and critically it wasn't rated that high, but apparently they're making another one. You know, I don't know. Like, instead of focusing on some next level shit, that's what they're doing, and I don't know, just like, what can you say? We just don't know yet. So
I think Microsoft is infatuated with games that are cheaper to develop and give you a bigger return on investment. You know what I mean? I think Phil is and the company are very wary.
All their fucking, they're losing all their fan morale.
Yeah, I don't know if they're too concerned as
Recore,
long as they're,
Recore and Super Lucky's Tale is not what made me an Xbox fan. Like, shit like that is not what made me an Xbox fan. I saw Mecha Soul and the next level destruction and fucking particle systems in that game, and I was like, wow, that's next level shit. I just got an achievement, by the way.
Me too.
That was a 50-pointer.
Nice.
Complete beacon.
There you go. That was awesome.
On mixing it up with Newf. Looky there.
Yes, Halo made us extra sense. Do you think we might even see a glimpse of Halo at all? Like, what do you think?
Halo is almost ready. I mean, if you look at the release cycles, it's from 2012 with Halo 4 to 2015 with 5. It's now 2018. It's 3 years. It should be ready this year, but if they're going to take a little more time and polish it, I'm not against that at all. But if they do push that back to 2019, then that means what? Gears 5 is 2020, and that's a ways out.
Right.
So
but you think they need to show it, right? You think they need to jump in there and at least show something? At least say, hey guys, this is just about ready.
Not only show it, but you better show a part of that game and something new that Halo does that hasn't done before, because you've been leaning on Halo for 17 years now. And every great franchise needs a solid reboot. Like God of War, that is a solid reboot, and it's done the right way, and it took a lot of time to do so. Halo, Gears, a lot of this stuff needs to, because you can go from Halo 1 to Halo 5 or Halo 3 to Halo 5 10 years apart almost, and you already know how to play the damn game almost. A few new buttons here. Gears of War, you can go from Gears 1 to Gears 4. You already know how to play the game pretty much. Like, there's not much of a difference there, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it does. This is the reason people are tired of it. There's been a lot of God of Wars, like a ton of those games, really. There has PS Vita, PS2, PS3, PS4 now, but this reboot makes it feel nice and fresh, and it's done right, and that's why people are excited. I think the same thing, not necessarily to the same extent, needs to be done with Halo and Gears, where really improve animations, add new mechanics, and change it up a little bit, you know, but do it right, obviously. And it's really easy to say that and hard to do, but maybe do it differently a little bit. That's the best I can come up with.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think it would be really big for the Halo franchises. Well, here's the one thing, and same as kind of where Gears is going. They need better enemies. I personally think the enemy types they haven't really had a strong, first of all, like a villain in the Halo franchise for a very long time, and villains are what often make movies. They also make great video games. When you
Halo
have
or Gears?
Well, both. I think Gears has been lacking a good villain since ROM, and I think Halo really hasn't had a good, like, I don't know, like the enemies and stuff that have been in Halo, to me personally, like, what do you call them, those Prometheans? Like, I think they're shit. Like, I can't stand them. I find them boring.
God. Everyone Everyone
right?
thinks they're shit.
I just think they're
For
shit.
the most
Like,
part.
they're like, find an enemy that's like the elites in the original Halo games were better. They just like the Arbiter was kind of cool, and that story arc was kind of neat, but they kind of went away from that. And the DBs in the fucking Gears, Jago says same thing. I hated the DBs. I hated that whole section of Gears 4. I thought it was terrible. It started to feel like it wasn't Gears. It's like, well, now we're fighting robots that have no personality, no emotion. They just run at you like fucking
Not only that,
explosions.
You're fighting them for 2 chapters out of the 5
fucking half the game. I know, I hated them. They were terrible. It's just like,
but Act 3 though, the game picked up quite a bit. So I agree with you on Halo. Prometheans are just generic. You're fighting fucking robot glowing dogs and shit in Halo 5. And I don't know anybody who really likes them. I think with 6 they should follow Halo Wars 2 and make the Flood and the Covenant, that battle between those two, the Flood come back with the Halo Wars 2 DLC. Make those two go at it, and then make obviously the Master Chief and all them. Of course, Locke needs to die in a fire on the way to the game, and just have Master Chief going at it with the Covenant and the Flood, and put Cortana and the Prometheans in the background as the greater threat. Reimagine them over the next 6 years, and figure something out how to make them more interesting. But bring back the Flood, and we haven't seen them really properly since the 360, so now they could really use this opportunity to completely revamp, remodel the Flood, drastically improve their animations, make them scary, make them creepy how they were in the first game. But standards have risen, so their standards as animations and as the things they do need to rise as well. So make them the thing that's like eerie and like bring that feeling back from Halo 1 when you first encountered them. You hear that piano crawl music, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to do that. Make those guys go at it. Make them the center threat.
Exactly.
For sure.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, man. There's a lot of things they can do with Halo. That's the thing. It's not Master Chief's getting stale. It's kind of the universe around him has gotten really... it's kind of gotten like, hey, run here, hit a switch, watch a little cutscene. It just gotten stale. There's a lot they could do there. I mean, they could even show his face for the first time. Like to see Master Chief's face or tease it or something. There's somebody. I mean, because nobody knows what he looks
finally
like.
Do it, and he's just like the ugliest motherfucker ever.
It's like the old fucking.
He's got like a astigmatism and a bald spot on the side of his head.
I don't know about you, but the first time watching Return of the Jedi, when we finally saw Darth Vader's face in the mask, and it was so fucking disappointing. He looked like fucking Humpty Dumpty with a scar on his head.
It's like, whoa, Anakin, you are slurping too many milkshakes through that mask.
It's like, yeah, keep that helmet back on, because now you just ruined the illusion of a fucking badass Jedi underneath. You're like
same thing for Kylo Ren. They showed his face in the very first fucking movie with him in there, and like, oh, okay, that's over.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do the same as they did with Vader. Yeah, kind of keep him like kind of mysterious because he had that cool voice and shit. And it's like, what the hell? And of course, they kept removing clothes from him by the new movie. They took his fucking shirt off.
Yeah.
So maybe in the next
one, him to watch his take his shirt off.
Maybe in the next movie he's got no pants on or something. Who the fuck knows? And then Luke Skywalker's drinking green fucking boob milk out of some kind of weird looking sea creature. I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, don't knock it till you try it.
Alright, something waiting on you. We're ready. We'll just try one more of these. Alrighty, so anyway, what the hell was topic was that? Yeah, about the E3. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying. They do need a bit of a big E3. They got to have at least, probably a solid 3 announcements that are really gonna, even if nothing else, they have a really good price drop on the X, really start to spur momentum going into the fall. Start kind of forget about the S now, start pushing the X, get the fucking premium console into people's hands, let them see what these games are starting to look like. We've been preaching it now for 6 or 7 months, but bring the other one down, make it a little more affordable, and spur the X, right? Push that one into the next gen.
There's a pretty damn good significant difference between the S and the X. So.
Oh, dude, well, I'm playing on my S in here right now, and it's like I can see the difference. Even especially the backwards compatible stuff and everything. It's like, holy hell, the X makes everything shine. So anyway, guys, that pretty much brings us to the end of the major topics we had for tonight. So, Dealer, did you have any topics you'd like to bring up or add to the discussion?
Not really. I mean,
Not really?
Yeah, I mean, I just, not really. It's not too much going on this week, you know. So
No.
I'm trying to come up with topics for tomorrow's show, and I don't even. You know.
I know.
It's been a little rough,
I had a bit of a tough time trying to come up with topics for this one. I was like, damn, what are we going to talk about tonight?
We really didn't want to talk about God of War as long as we did, you know, honestly. But it's worth talking about because it's really cringy when you see people damage control in a great game that if we're on Xbox, people be going nuts over, you know. It might only be at a 92 out of 100 instead of 95 over on Xbox, but you know, people will still be going insane over the game, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm pretty happy about that. So, guys, anybody in the chat have any questions for Dealer that you'd like to ask him? Now the floor is yours. Now is the time to ask any questions. It can be anything at all. It can be game related, non-game related, but feel free to ask.
Could be taco related. Anything.
Taco related.
I didn't know about this. I mean, no, I'm pretty open. That's pretty open. There's probably no questions left to ask.
Well, this is, like I said, this is all about just having fun, playing a game, and you know, and chatting and finding out a little bit more about some of the YouTubers in our community that stuff like that. And I think it's going pretty well. I'm really enjoying this, and I've had lots of compliments on the format. I mean, it's a tough format to run, to have topics and, as you said, concentrate on a game at the same time, but it still works. I don't really care. Like, I'm not worried about score or achievements here. I'm just playing, having a good time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're lucky just to hit the right button at the right time right now, you know, so sitting there talking about memories and preferences, and yeah, it's a good format. You just keep at it, man. I mean, like, YouTube is a grind. I know Mixer's going to be a hell of a grind. You just got to keep going. I mean,
ask your favorite food. Do you have a
say
favorite
what?
food?
Like a lag, I think.
Do you have a favorite food from Spider-Man? That's his question. Anything that floats your boat? You pizza guy? You like subs? You salad?
I'm a big fan of a lot of food, honestly. Like, I'm fighting my destiny right now. I'm meant to be I don't know.
Well,
I just I definitely like food. But
you got Jagos.
yeah, Italian food.
Italian food? Yeah, like a good pasta. Put a little bit of carbs in it.
Yep. Are you dead again? You fraud?
No, I'm over here going. Jago's asking, what's your favorite hobby outside? Now I'm down. What's your favorite hobby outside of gaming?
I don't know. I really like creating YouTube videos. If I have a good subject and something I want to talk about, like, that's something I really enjoy. I like rendering high quality stuff like that. Music. Depending on what time of the year it is, the gym, depending on what I'm going through at the time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super complicated. I'm just kind of grinding my way through school and out to enjoy my summer break. You know, I'm just now getting a chance to sit down and think about some stuff. Honestly, for the first time in the first break in almost 2 years. I went last summer and I went to school over the winter too. So I'm taking this summer off. I'm ready.
Jago says, who's the biggest fraud on YouTube?
Oh man, there's too many. Lately, I'm dealing with the crumb side guys that constantly make excuses for their own lack of success by saying everyone else is cheating. It's cringy as fuck because they don't have any supporters that sit there and check out their stuff or rate it up or share it, because all they do is talk about drama, you know. So the drama channels are mad because the non-drama, more relevant topic-based channels are doing better. So they're they're sitting there criticizing and saying that, you know, you must be cheating. And it's like, wow, you're an idiot. Like, just type in Xbox News and see if this video pops up. Do you think maybe that's got something to do with why the video is so fucking big? Like, my last video blew my mind because it broke my channel record for first day views. I think it's like past 70,000 views in just on its second day. And I'm like, holy shit. You know, I'm talking to my girl about, I'm like, yeah, and I'm like confused by it because I've never had a video do that well. But then looking at the thumbnail and the title and looking at the search results, I can find that video all over the place if I search different topics. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, hey, I set it up well and it did well and I'm fucking happy. know, what can I say? But you do well, and others automatically they don't understand why, and they point to bullshit, and it's just really annoying. So that's kind of, there's a lot of frauds, to answer your question, Diego. A lot of people that want to make excuses for themselves to make themselves feel better. And it just is what it is, man.
Well, Dealer, I've always admired you and your videos, man, because you put effort into them. Like I said, you do the research, your homework, you're knowledgeable, you articulate. You know, you're very funny at times as well. It's a good blend, right? And I mean, it shows. RDX has built a great following. I like what you bring to the table, man, and I've always enjoyed your stuff. So, I mean, speaking of YouTube videos, I'll ask a question: is I mean, kind of what got you into the whole gig in the first place? You're obviously a big video game fan. So, like, kind of who sort of got you started and that sort of thing, and what were some of your fondest memories of starting out? Like, where did you start with? Because I remember, I think the first time I ever saw you on a video was probably on Xbox Nation.
Yeah, I was actually an original member on Xbox Nation, but I was having, because I lived on campus at the time, and I was having NAT issues. So I couldn't really connect to that or anything, nor did I have a lot of time to do it at the time. But, yeah, I mean, even though this guy doesn't even like me anymore, because I guess somebody told him I was talking some shit, and I guess he just decided to believe them instead of coming to me and talking to me about it, which sucks because I've known this guy for 5 years, and been supporting his channel for 5 years. You know, I still ain't gonna, even though he's fucking gunning for me, I'm not gonna be, you know, that guy and be like, yeah, fuck that guy. But, you know, Zaire, Next Gen's the one who got me into this. No matter what he thinks about me, I've told several people this a couple of months ago, even on a podcast. I always respect this guy because he reached out to me early on and said, hey, man, you're gonna go places and pass a lot of these people, and just keep doing what you're doing. And I thank God, watching my old trash videos, I'm not doing what I was doing then, but you know, I've improved and tried to reiterate and do better. And because I was watching him before I even started, and he was like the main guy that was out there doing it. And I was like, yeah, because there was a lot of bullshit. Like, a lot of people don't understand, especially the new people in the community. They don't understand the bullshit of 2012 and 2013. Connect spying on you every fucking day. There's a Connect spying on you video from the, you know, Machinima. And it was just a bunch of fucking trash, and it would just annoy you as a fan of Xbox to see all these lies and bullshit, and these channels getting 100,000 subscribers off of Xbox hate, and just all this growth off of negativity. And it became the cool thing to do for the first time ever, to hate on Xbox, you know. And that was just how it was in 2012, 2013, and that made me resent a lot of the Sony fan base. And you know, I never really had a problem with the PS4. I don't like a lot of what the system does, or how intuitively it works, but I don't have a problem with the console. My problem was with the community. So I was pretty ragtag, fuck 'em all back then, you know, using every name in the book. And you know, lots changed. Obviously, I've kind of grown and mellowed out because I've gotten all that out. But it was just a lot of it was spurred on by just lies and negativity from a lot of that you know, fan base. So I don't know. I give a lot of credit to Z for kind of recognizing me early on and spurring me on. And like I said, it kind of sucks that he decided to go with what, you know, a guy that's been proven to lie about others.
I think he's getting lots of love now. He's getting lots of love, I guess, from the PlayStation crowd now. He's not quite sure what he likes anymore. I don't know. And whatever, man. He knows what he's doing.
He's always been in the entertainment section, or at least for the most part, you know. He knows it's the Hollywood Hogan thing, and you know, I ain't gonna knock it, but at the same time, like I'm saying though, just to have a friend kind of go on instead of, oh, maybe you do have a DM of me making a joke. Like, ask me for some context, because that's very important. Context is everything.
Well, hey,
and you know.
We know in this community, you got to be careful what you post or say, because they'll come back 5 years later and be like, hey, I still got that video of you when you fucking farted in the left direction. It's like, it's really fucking ridiculous. It's like, I don't know.
That or like somebody like Black Bond, they'll take literally, my first month on YouTube, September 2014, he took a video and edited it where he didn't show the whole video, where I'm talking about particles, right? And he's like, yeah, this idiot said there were no particles before, but if he let you hear the whole video, I'm saying in relation to the current gen, meaning the Xbox One, like Killer Instinct, tons of particles on screen compared to anything in the 360 era, and that's what I'm referring to. But that's how you know you're doing something right, is when people take stuff like that and they've got to take it out of context and warp it and lie to their base.
Right.
It doesn't benefit them at all to maintain context at all. Just like the 60 frames versus headphones things that people took out of context when I was clearly talking about parity between consoles, the S and the X. I didn't say I would prefer 60 frames or I like 60 or I like headphones more than 60 frames. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. You have common sense. You understood the tweet and you were in the context. But you know, people stumble on that and they run with it and they're just idiots. And when they confront you, though, it's easy to crush them. But that's the only positive that comes from that. They look stupid in the end, but just a lot of stupid bullshit that's been taken out of context that I've had to deal with on YouTube, and that's the only way they can try to get me, honestly. So they want to go back 4 years, they can try. If they want to take some shit out of context, they can try. But you know, live, it ain't happening. I'll fucking just show I don't care.
Nope, that's good, man. Yeah, there's a
little
lot
rant
of
there. My bad.
Yeah,
I'm just dealing with a lot of bullshit lately. So
I hear you, man. It doesn't matter how safe you play it, there's always somebody that seems like they're out to get you, and it's ridiculous. And you know, people that are taking time to Photoshop people's heads on pictures and going back through timelines fucking months after the fact, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, they just, like I said, this community makes its own narratives. They like to just fucking, they go with whatever is the hot topic of the day, and like I said, and there's certain groups that have already noticed, they just get the fucking shits and giggles on drama, and they don't really care. It's like, you know, oh, well, this one talks. Well, you know what? Almost everybody I've known says something or another one or two times. Nobody's fucking perfect. But I mean,
mainly the guys saying that somebody's talking shit, like they're always talking shit.
Always
so,
talking
I mean,
shit.
and like I said, context is a big part of that. So I mean, we poked at Xbot earlier. I did, you know, but Xbot knows that I don't fucking hate his guts or dislike him. Like, just because we cracked the evolving Kraken joke, that doesn't. We all do that. We all fuck with each other, take shots at each other like that on shows. It's funny. But you know, that's a lot different than saying, oh, I fucking hate this guy and I'm talking shit. You know, like it's a lot different, no matter how they want to try to spin it out of context.
Green, I know I talk shit. He says, we had a question earlier from Ace Junkie. He just asked, do you think that Xbox will be able to shake sort of this negative stigma that's kind of come with the brand? You know, basically, can they build a brand back up heading into the next gen?
The next gen is what I think has the potential to be the great equalizer, and I don't think they need to nail all, you know, one checkbox. Oh, they have the most power. Great. The X has proven that these motherfuckers will flip the script quick, right? These are the same guys that bragged about 3 extra blades of grass on Grand Theft Auto for 5 years, 3 years straight. You know, now none of that matters, and they've proven that they'll flip the narrative real quick. So that's why I say they need to have not only the most powerful hardware, be that maybe the specs are almost identical. You better find a way to overclock that fucking CPU. Do something. You better have the edge.
Great point.
Secondly, you've got to have the better games. You've got to have more launch games. You've got to have the bigger launch games. You've got to have everything next generation so you can catch back up to where you were. Because, you know, one thing ain't good enough no more for Xbox, I feel like they've got to have the power and some big games at launch.
Some killer games. I mean, you know, it's funny. You just made a great point, right? About this power. How all of a sudden now it doesn't matter anymore. Now, this was easily, in the first year this came out, this game was like, there was nothing else like it. This was the best looking game probably from 2013 to 2014, maybe even 2015, almost easily. And this game runs 900p, right? But did we ever hear anyone talk about
Killzone was up there, but yeah, this.
Did we ever hear anybody talk about how? But then we heard people talk about how good this game looked graphically outside of Xbox fans. No, the people that were PlayStation side, all they ever mentioned was, oh, it just runs 900p. It can't do 60 frames. It's just, but look, it's the best looking game regardless of the resolution. This is now what PlayStation fans are saying.
Those same guys, though, were on Twitter saying, give me 1080p or I'm going to play this game. Like, they literally used to tweet that out. Like, people that are newer were like, what the fuck? But yeah, they actually were that crazy about resolution back then. I won't play this if it's not 1080p. That's what they say.
It's funny. Yeah, because now those same guys are saying God of War, they're going, oh, well, yeah, it's not true 4K, but it's the best looking game of the generation. This is what we're saying. Yes, graphics and resolution are two different things. Like, anybody should know that. But this is what I'm saying. They twist the narrative now that Xbox clearly has a console that can push 4K. You know, like it just drives me nuts. But you know, you gotta ignore it because you can't fix stupid.
Are different. For sure.
You can't fix
stupid.
Why
Minecraft at 1080 doesn't look better than Ryzen 900, right? Because graphics and resolution are definitely two different things. Though resolution can, you know, augment the graphics that are there. It's just all about art design and where they decide to put those resources, you know.
Yep, 1080p makes you a better gamer. Yeah, we remember that bullshit. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. So stuff has changed. I think that's pretty much it now for the questions. I think we've kind of cycled through everything. I think Jago had one earlier. Do you have any favorite TV series or movies from the 80s?
The 80s. I was born at the very end of the 80s, 89. So.
What's an old TV show or movie that you like then?
I was like 1 year old. So, you know,
he's like, I like my mama's tit back in the 80s. That's what I like.
I can tell you the 90s, man. Like Batman the animated series was fire in the 90s. Stuff like that. But yeah, I don't. Couldn't necessarily. I think the 80s in general was just kind of like a decade full of a lot of just really dumb, bad shit, but it also was just super interesting. You know, that was the height of drug use, was the 80s, and it's kind of fallen since then. So a lot of dumb, weird, hacky shit was around in the 80s, but I don't know. I don't know too much about it in terms of pop culture. I just know motherfuckers look weird. Now, I can say that looking back at it now, definitely music was like in terms of the metal scene, like Megadeth and stuff was popping in the 80s and stuff, but other than that, I can't list too many great. That don't mean you can't, or you know, you shouldn't. You know, everyone's got their own little thing they like, right?
So, no Knight Rider. The Knight Rider was also
Knight Rider.
Well, like you said, man, he was born at the end, so he kind of missed that generation, but he likes the 90s stuff, so that's cool.
Well, that's what I would remember. Like, that question would be better suited for the 90s for me. But, yeah, 90s wasn't the greatest either. I mean, I don't know.
No.
I just feel like things are kind of better than they've been in a lot of ways right now, you know? So it's hard to look back and be like, yeah, everything was so much better back then. Like, I can point to very few specific things, but in general, I don't think it's ever been a better time to be a gamer or anything. I think the industry's kind of had some, stumbles with trying to figure out how much free-to-play shit and microtransactions they can get away with. But I feel like, you know, it'll all come back down to being just, you know, good gaming in the end. Who knows, you know? No,
well, yeah. Spider-Man said they should make a Spawn game. I agree with him. I think Spawn would be awesome. It'd be a great Xbox exclusive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know.
Yeah.
Spider-Man doesn't have, or Spawn though doesn't have quite the same reach to say as Spider-Man. Yeah, that's the only thing. Like, everybody knows who Spider-Man is, but you gotta ask yourself, like where does Spawn sit in the scheme of things? You know what I mean? I know he's got a loyal following, but is it enough to sell games, right?
Well, if it's done properly, you know, I don't think it would matter too much. Like, if it's gonna be. Just gotta remember, Ascension kind of flopped sales-wise. God of War Ascension and critically kind of flopped, and then they rebooted it. Now it's fucking destroying shit. But you know, Spawn's like a quality game, kind of like you know, it's always hard to pick this out and say kind of like. But if they somehow pulled it off, I think they could reboot Spawn in a way.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it needs a good movie to go. It needs a good movie to go with it, right? Because it helps that Marvel has had so many strong movies where the characters get that extra promotion, right? Whereas Spawn only had that sort of, I don't know, mediocre fucking take in the 90s with terrible special effects.
At the time, they were crazy, though. I'll say that.
At the time, they weren't bad, yeah.
It was a really weird movie. Like, it was just a weird movie. Not that it was horror. I own it on Blu-ray. I still haven't watched it since I bought it, but I just kind of wanted to buy it because it's a memorable movie in an odd way. But I feel like a very mature, no fucks given approach to a reboot.
Yeah.
Just do it. Don't worry about any kind of focus groups or ratings, and just do what you can do. kind of like a Deadpool approach where they did the character justice, you know, in the first movie, and they spent $64 million on that Deadpool movie, and it made nobody saw it coming to that. That's all I need, I think.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think we're going to end it here. Some great questions indeed. I want to thank Dealer for coming on my mixing it up with Newf tonight. Dealer, it was always a pleasure to have you here, sir. Hope you enjoyed your time on the podcast and you kind of figure out what I'm doing here with this. And thanks everybody that came out in the chat. Lots of regulars here again tonight, as usual. So basically, Dealer, let people know where to find you, what's happening with you, and all that good stuff, brother.
Yeah, brother. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of fucking. My girl's just in here, and my phone just went off. So I'm assuming it's the outro. I'm just like
yeah,
15 seconds.
it's just Newf yapping.
No. Sorry, she cut herself on some glass. I kind of had to exit the headphones for a second, but yeah, it was a good show, man. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for everyone for tuning in, and be sure and share this bitch on Twitter and stuff, and kind of get people to support a show like this, because it's definitely different.
Yeah, I'll be putting the link up tomorrow, guys. When I get back from work, I'll put it up so people can watch it. So we appreciate you sharing it and spreading the love in the community. Some good topics, as always, and Dealer's a phenomenal guest. So again, thanks for coming on. I'll let people know where to find you, Dealer. What's up next? I know you got RDX coming up tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night, yep, got a RDX podcast. It's about an hour long. You guys know the spiel, and yeah, we're looking at changing up the cast a little bit. So we'll have a buddy of mine on tomorrow, and then what we do from there is a lot of dependencies. Like it's gonna vary. So once again, guys, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for rocking out with us.
Yeah. Perfect, guys. Well, thanks again for hanging out with us, everybody. We hope to catch you guys all soon. Much love. Keep it rocking. Go play some games. And that's it. Avoid the drama at all costs if you can. It's not easy. Hey, guys. Thanks a million, guys, for hanging out with us. Greatly appreciate it. We'll catch you soon. Peace out.
See you later.
All right, and broadcast.